Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Kayla and today I'm going to show you tips on starting your crochet business in 2025. I'll be answering some questions for you guys and how to start your crochet business, how to run markets, and how to start your own website. So let's get into it. The first question that I'll start off with is, where do I start? Now, personally, what I recommend doing is I would start off making a bunch of your product beforehand. Before you try to launch any type of website, before you try to do any type of market, make sure that you are stocked up on what you want to sell, especially in crochet. For example, if you want to start off by making patterns, I'd start off by writing 2 or 3 patterns to start off with, just so that you have something on there besides just one sole product. Imagine walking into a store and they only sold one thing. For example, if half of my friend group wants burgers and half of them want chicken tenders, we're not gonna go to a restaurant that only sells chicken tenders, because then half of those people are gonna be like, hey, where did my options go? I don't want chicken. So whenever you start your business, you always want to make sure to give people some options to start off with. So if you want to start off by maybe putting a couple patterns out there, maybe you want to make a couple different types of plushies or wearables to list out on your website, I would start off there so that you have something in stock. That way, when you start getting orders, you don't end up falling behind because you don't have those products ready. The next thing I recommend is stocking up on the supplies that you will need in order to ship and produce your products. You don't want to upload stuff on your website and say, hey, I ship internationally, but you don't have any boxes, you don't have any packing tape, you don't have any like tissue paper to stuff your boxes with, you don't have business cards, you don't have anything. I would start off with the bare essentials that you need in order to ship your products or to produce your products. For example, if you wanted to do a market and you don't have a table, you don't have a tablecloth or anything like that, you don't have to buy everything on earth, but make sure that you have the bare necessities of what you need. But just make sure you have the essentials when you're starting out, at least. Before you sign up for the market, before you launch the website, make sure you have the stuff to either ship, set up your shop. You don't have to have everything, but make sure that you have what you need to start. Make sure that your items are priced accordingly and you have some type of formula to pricing your items. A lot of people will end up asking you how the items are priced, how they're produced, how they're made, like who makes them, because they want to make sure that they're not only buying ethically, they don't want to buy from drop shippers a lot of the time. A lot of people don't like that if you're starting your own business. That's how you lose a lot of business, especially if you lie to people and say you made something when you didn't. My next tip is know how to price your items accordingly. So I have a formula to pricing my crochet. I pay myself an hourly rate plus materials. So basically what that means is if a plushie takes me around an hour, I'm gonna pay myself $15 an hour. So base rate is $15, and then factoring in the cost of materials cost about $5, so that plushie may be around $20 or so, give or take. It really depends on the difficulty of the plushie, how long it takes you, or doesn't have to be a plushie, but it basically depends on how long the product takes you and how much you spent to actually make that product. A lot of people love going up to crocheters and saying, hey, I'll buy this from you, I'll just pay for the yarn. When people say that, you're not going to make any money off of that, and they're not paying you for your time. So just make sure that you are getting paid accordingly, but also make sure that it's reasonable at the same time. If I make a blanket and it takes me over a month to make, if I price that accordingly, if I paid myself an hourly rate and did materials, it would probably be like a $500 blanket or something crazy, which someone's probably not gonna wanna buy that. So maybe you wanna stray away from those gigantic projects and leave them to be custom orders. People can come to you and ask for that, but actually make stuff that doesn't take too long and isn't going to break the bank for your customers. The next tip that I have is make sure you have your brand name and that it is universal across all platforms. Let's say if I jumped on YouTube and my name was Shop Kelha, and I went on Instagram, but my Instagram name was Plushies by Kayla. That doesn't make any sense. If someone goes onto my YouTube and they're like, hey, I like this girl, let me try and look her up on Instagram, they're not gonna be able to easily find me if I have 10 different names across all of my platforms. I know that it's not super easy to get a platform name, especially now, but just make sure that they are all relatively the same in your usernames and that your actual name stays the same throughout the entire process. My next tip is deciding if you're going to be made to order versus doing drops on your website. So basically, made to order, if somebody orders a plushie or a wearable or any type of product from you, just make sure, like, say, hey, you ordered this, I'm gonna make it for you and then I'm gonna ship it out. It may take you about like a week after they order to actually get that out to them, make sure that you take that into account. That's gonna make shipping times a little longer, shipping and processing times, so people may not want to wait that long. Also, if you get in a ton of orders that are made to order, you have to remember that you have to make those within a certain amount of time. So if you get 10 orders and they all have to be shipped out by the end of the week, you need to be confident that you're going to be able to do that. It may be a lot easier to say, hey, I only have 2 in stock of these. That way you don't get 20 orders at once and then basically you have a bunch of upset customers and you're feeling overwhelmed. That's what I like to do. I only put in a certain amount of stock on my websites, and then I do made to order, so that way people still have options and I can go ahead and make it in a reasonable amount of time. If you choose to do website drops or so on your website, you can make 10 plushies and then put the item up on your website, and whenever it's out of stock, you don't put it back in stock until you've made more items to put on your website, if that makes sense. Let's say if I made 2 mini bear plushies and I put them on my website, I wouldn't say, hey, I have 10 in stock. I would say, hey, I have 2 in stock. They are ready to ship right now. They can get to you within a couple of days. Versus made to order, it's saying, hey, I'll make your order. Your order will be done in a couple of days. Then it'll ship in another couple of days. Doing plushie drops is a lot easier if you have some more time to actually set aside and make your products to put on your website. But decide if you want to do made to order or if you want to spend the time, make the product in advance, and then just spend your time shipping it all out. My next tip is don't try to do a market right off the bat. Get used to taking in some personal orders first or making stock first before you jump out and do an in-person market. You need to make sure that you have enough product in stock to do a market, because if you do a 3-hour market and your stuff sells out in the first 5 minutes because you only had 5 things to sell, that's not going to be good on you, because then you had 3 more hours that you could have used selling your products, but because you didn't have enough, you don't have that opportunity anymore, if that makes sense. If you do an in-person event, you want to make sure that you have enough stock. Of course, it is a fabulous thing to sell out of your product, but you do want to make sure you have enough to reasonably be out there for several hours. Also, don't expect to sell out with your first market or any market at all for that fact. The people that sell out during the markets are extremely lucky, and it really just depends on the market. If you are selling in person, I've heard a lot of mixed opinions about this. A lot of people had said, hey, if I crochet during my market, people see that I'm actually the one making the product and they love to come up to my booth, and that gets me a lot of traffic. Other people say that if you're crocheting during your market, you don't get to have those personal connections with people and make a lot of eye contact, be friendly. It really depends on what your cup of tea is, if I'm being honest. A lot of times, I don't really crochet too much during my markets. I will do it occasionally, but if people walk by, I do look up and say, hey, welcome in, kind of make some small talk, and they see that I'm making the plushies. Or if I'm not crocheting while I'm at a market, people walk by and ask questions, and the way that I answer the questions lets them know that I genuinely made the product. So just make sure you can answer questions for people, be friendly with them, and it honestly does drive a lot of traffic to your booth if you are up and friendly. If you are more introverted, it may be a lot more intimidating. I am personally introverted myself. I don't really like going out of my way to speak to a lot of people. It gives me a lot of anxiety, but I do it anyways, and it's a personal choice, and I know it's hard for a lot of people, but if you are introverted, you can just crochet and people will come up to you, and it makes the conversation a lot easier. With your first market, you do not have to have the fanciest display ever. I've seen some markets to where people fill up every inch of the table and it looks phenomenal. I know that I would probably have to work for like 3-4 months straight if I wanted to have stock like some other people. They have like the tables full, they have the pretty signs, all the decor and everything. Just make sure that you have the basics for your first one, and kind of just understand how things are going to run. That's the basic goal. You want to be able to have enough stock to get through the markets. You want to be able to have your tables and chairs, maybe like a tablecloth to make it pretty, but you don't have to have everything that everybody else has. My next tip is making sure that you crochet stuff that you like to crochet and stuff that is also going to sell. I've been hearing a lot lately of people saying, hey, all the crochet booths sell the same stuff. I'm kind of tired of seeing it. And my response to that a lot of the times is, hey, like there are a lot of people who like to buy the axolotls and the bees and the loaf cats, so that's why I have them here as an option. But I also like to have some unique stuff there to pull in the other crowds as well. And you just want to also sell stuff that you like to make. I really don't like making cows a lot, but people love buying cows. Like cows are like a big thing right now. And I make cows occasionally, but because I don't like to do it, I just leave it for some other crocheters and people will find something that they like regardless. If you don't like making something, you don't have to force yourself to keep making it. But just remember, try and make some stuff that is in nowadays and that will sell and gain you some business throughout your market. But you can also sell stuff that you like, because ultimately there are going to be people that walk by and say, hey, I love this product. I didn't know that you were into this. And then that could be your next customer. My next tip is whenever you go to a market, know your methods of payments. One thing that was a struggle for me is I actually got a Square reader for my market and it would not connect to my phone for the life of me. I've used it before, but it malfunctioned. We were struggling so hard. It was me and this lady. She wanted to buy a love cat from me. She really wanted to buy it and we were trying to figure out a method of payment while my Square reader was kind of getting itself back on track. But decide if you want to have a Square reader or if you want to do Venmo, Zelle, you want to do Cash App, if you want to take cash. If you take cash, you want to make sure that you have change to give out to people and a secure place to keep your cash while you're doing other stuff at your market as well. So just decide what you want to do, because ultimately, if it's hard for someone to pay, they're not going to go through that hassle. People don't like inconveniences, anything that takes too long. They want to be in and out and have a good experience. Also, speaking of that, you want to make sure that you keep your product out for as long as possible. People have come up to me while I've been setting up to buy plushies off of me, but also while I've been taking down my setup. People walk up and they go, hey, I know you had this plushie here. I wanted to buy one before you're gone. So what I like to do when I'm taking down my market stuff is I like to keep my plushies out for as long as possible. And if I do have to put them away, I put them in a clear bin so people can still see what I have there, and I set it out front. Of course, keep an eye on it, because you know some people have sticky fingers. Don't think that everybody's all nice. You keep your product out where you can still see it, still keep control over it while you take down everything else, because there are going to be people who say, hey, I want to buy this before you leave. My next tip is make sure to brand yourself as well and to actually promote your products and your events. If you have like an Instagram or a Facebook, I recommend setting up your own page and inviting people that you know to come like your page, to come share your stuff and get your name out there. And also, I would make sure, even if you're having a busy time with your market or your website, just to make sure to snap a photo or two so that you can upload it and say, hey, I made this product, or hey, come check this out. You continuously have more opportunities to branch out to different people. The way that social media is set up right now, it really does push out your posts to a lot of non-followers and people who don't know who you are. And even if you don't have that many followers to start off with, people do give you a chance and they do follow and they do like your content. So don't get discouraged. Just make sure that you go ahead and regularly post and make updates. The social media algorithms really do love consistency. However, if you can't post that often, just make sure that you're still throwing posts up here and there so that you're not inactive on socials. My next tip isn't a market tip. My next tip is going to be a website tip. Something that is going to be really great is your reviews. If you are starting off and you're a shop, you have no sales, it's really discouraging for people to say, hey, this shop has no sales at all, has no reviews. I don't know if I can trust them or not. Like, are they going to be good? One thing that you can do is you can get a friend to actually get a product and review it. They can review it honestly. They can leave you a good review. Don't do fake reviews. That's not credible. People don't like that. But you can have somebody that you know give you a review, get a product, see how they like it. That gives you some trustworthiness from people who don't know your shop or anything like that. Or if you do have like your first customer, you can reach out and be like, hey, thank you so much for your order. If you wouldn't mind, like, you can leave a review. It doesn't hurt to ask for a review. But if you don't have any sales or any reviews or anything, you can have people that you know say, hey, like, she made me this blanket, like, it was super great. But of course, if someone didn't get anything from you, you don't want to ask them to leave a review. We don't like fake reviews. Make sure that you actually made them a product, but that does help out to have at least one sale and one review to start off with. And my last tip for you guys is make sure that you are being completely you and you are crocheting because you want to and not just solely to make a profit. There's a lot of social media accounts out there for crochet and people are posting how they made like $1 million in a month off of their crochet and they make these products and everything. You always want to make sure that you are being yourself and you don't have to strive to make $1 million on your first day. Crochet because you love it. Those people have worked really hard and they do get a following, but it took a lot of them a lot of time to get to that point. And even if you only have like 50 followers, 100 followers, you don't have to feel discouraged. Just do it because you like it and be yourself, be a good person, and the following will come with time. And that is all I have for you guys today, but I'm glad that you guys were able to check in today. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below in the comments, and I would love to make more videos for you guys. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.